This video depicts the implantation of the Impella LD. It is a simplified version of the process meant to highlight the primary steps of the procedure. Consult the Instructions for Use manual for complete implantation instructions. Using the sterile incision template, identify the location for the incision in the ascending aorta. It should be 7 centimeters above the aortic valve. Place a side biter clamp and make an incision no larger than 6 millimeters, so that the front silicone plug does not advance through the incision into the aorta. Attach the Dacron vascular graft using the standard end-to-side anastomosis. Assess the anastomosis for hemostasis. Then place a clamp at the distal end of the graft and place the Impella LD catheter into the open end of the graft up to the level of the rear plug. Secure a tourniquet around the rear silicone plug and tighten it sufficiently to control bleeding while still allowing the catheter to slide through the plug. Release the clamp and advance the Impella LD catheter into the aorta. As soon as the motor housing has passed the aorta, use a ligature to loosely secure the front silicone plug flush to the graft. Make sure the plug does not advance into the aorta through the incision. Center the cannula across the aortic valve. The catheter should be angled toward the left ventricular apex, away from the heart wall and not blocking the mitral valve. After achieving correct and stable placement, secure the front silicone plug to the graft using a penetrating suture ligature. Trim the vascular graft and re-secure the rear silicone plug to the graft.
Welcome to Abiomed. This training video is designed to demonstrate the insertion of the Impella catheter. This does not replace the Instructions for Use manual. Fluoroscopy is required to guide placement of the Impella 2.5 catheter. The small placement guide wire must be reliably observed at all times. Obtain femoral access. Insert the .035 provided guide wire. Remove the needle. Insert the 6 to 8 French introducer to predilate the vessel. Remove the 6 to 8 French introducer, then insert a 10 French introducer. Remove the 10 French introducer and insert the 13 French peel-away introducer with dilator. While inserting the 13 French introducer with dilator, hold the shaft of the introducer to slide it into the artery. Administer an anticoagulant to achieve an ACT of 250 or greater. Or, for 2B, 3A, the ACT should be 200 or greater. Once the desired ACT is achieved, remove the 13 French dilator. Insert the 6 French diagnostic catheter with diagnostic guide wire with no side holes, AL1 or multipurpose recommended, into the 13 French introducer and advance it over a diagnostic guide wire into the left ventricle. Form a curve or bend on the end of the .018-inch, 260 centimeter placement guide wire and then insert it. Advance the placement guide wire into the left ventricle to the apex. Remove the 6 French diagnostic catheter. Wet the cannula with sterile water and backload the pigtail section of the catheter onto the placement guide wire. Advance the guide wire into the Impella 2.5 catheter and stabilize the cannula between the fingers. This prevents pinching of the inlet area. The guide wire must exit the outlet area on the inner radius of the cannula and align with a straight black line on the catheter. The cannula can be hyperextended as necessary to ensure the guide wire exits on the inner radius of the cannula. Avoid manual compression of the inlet and outlet areas of the cannula assembly. Advance the catheter through the hemostatic valve into the femoral artery and along the placement guide wire, and across the aortic valve using a fixed wire technique. Follow the catheter under fluoroscopy as it is advanced across the aortic valve, positioning the inlet area of the catheter approximately 4 centimeters below the aortic valve annulus and the middle of the ventricular chamber, free from mitral valve chordae. Be careful not to coil the guide wire in the left ventricle. To prevent device failure, do not start the Impella 2.5 catheter until the guide wire has been removed. Remove the placement guide wire. Confirm position with fluoroscopy and confirm that an aortic waveform is displayed on the Impella console. After insertion of the catheter and until explants, ACT should be maintained at 160 to 180 seconds.